Welcome back. My name's Paige and I run virtual tours and extreme outdoors. Today's episode is the first of many to come of what I'm going to call the What's Going On series. What's Going On is set to focus literally on what special events are happening in our small towns that I believe people should and would love to know about. In this very first episode, I am taking you to Mission Beach Community Gardens to talk to Brian, the founder of the gardens, see what the community gardens can do for communities like ours, and what's involved and how you yourself can get involved. So let's go.
G'day, Brian here from Mission Beach Community Gardens, just showing Paige around the gardens and having a little bit of a chat about what's been going on. So behind me here you can see some of the rows that we've sort of been preparing over the past few weeks with the volunteers. Then planting out with pawpaw and beans and different types of crops. So at the moment we've got about sort of 4 to 6 volunteers coming on a sort of fairly regular basis. And up the top there you can see Aggie at the moment. She's actually preparing some sweet potato gardens at the moment. So all that's been happening on a Wednesday and a Saturday morning at the moment, and for a few hours each morning. And then as the winter months progress and it gets a bit cooler, we'll probably extend on right through the day at times and have a barbecue. And of course, as the gardens start to produce more food and things as well, we'll probably also look at harvesting and picking that, selling it to the locals, and also the volunteers will be using a lot of that to take home for their own use. So that's basic the concept of the idea at the moment and how it's progressing.
So what sort of gardening styles are interpreted and used here?
Core of it is low impact on the environment, so I'm not using large amounts of chemicals or sprays or anything like that. That's probably the key thing, and also just trying to get people involved, getting them outside, getting them in the ground. So predominantly using organic sort of principles with lots of mulch and organic fertilisers like chicken poo based fertilisers, and then dolomite, gypsum and a few other organic sort of soil conditioners, but generally no or very limited synthetic fertilisers used. Right, so another part of, I guess, the principles behind it is using compatible plants. So sunflowers are great because they'll actually absorb heavy metals out of your soils in the seeds, and so then once you remove those seeds off your property or feed them to the budgie or whatever, I wouldn't feed them to your ducks, because then you're going to eat those heavy metals in the ducks. But if you're going to feed them to an animal, feed it to an animal you're not going to eat, and you know that's a good way to clean your soil. You're not going to necessarily harm a big animal, but it's a good way to clean your soil. Of course, you're also going to attract bees and a whole heap of insects and stuff to your property, and which will also help with pollination and things like that. So to use complementary plants is a great thing, which a lot of people I don't think realise really helps their gardening. So in this garden along here, we've got cucumbers, we've got okra over here, and we've got a lot of bok choy, tatsoi, sort of leafy greens through the garden. We've also got some radishes through the middle there, which are a quick crop. So as these cucumbers grow up the trellises, then the radishes will be ready, we can pull them out, and then the cucumbers can take over. But they're just a quick crop to get in the meantime. So as you can see, the cucumbers are powering on. Some climbing beans down here, more tatsoi. There's sort of radishes and a few other crops up the middle. Bush beans over this side, and different types of cucumbers. So I think this is the white crystal cucumber, sort of that large white cucumber that a lot of people love. And then over there we've got the corn, and we've got some other gardens up the top here prepared with peanuts, and a few other things are happening over in there.
So what is the future purpose for the gardens and what do you have planned?
Okay, so if I can get enough people involved to actually develop property to what I can see in my mind, then I guess I'd like it to basically be completely filled with rows of vegetables, some large areas for pumpkins and other crops. And then of course that'll have the entire community involved, I guess, whether that's in person on the ground here, helping out grow the vegetables, or whether that's actually just being the consumers and actually participating in the purchase of vegetable boxes on a regular basis and supporting a little local economy, as opposed to relying on the big woolies suppliers and things like that are growing on sort of monoculture type farmland, which is quite devoid of some nutrients and that bodies require. So if we can get our food locally, that's a win-win as far as I'm concerned.
What do you believe the benefits of a community garden and what the project as such can do for a community?
I definitely think it has the ability to bring people together and learn about where their food comes from and some of the old methods before tractors and large implements and synthetic fertilizers got rolled out everywhere, and what people rely on these days. So I mean, that's a big thing for me, is trying to educate the community about what we used to do, or what some of the third world or developing countries do around the world. Like some of the Indian farmers are just amazing at their massive 100% organic farms, and it's just incredible what they produce on small areas of land for their communities. And so if I could do something like that here, that would be, I'd just love that as something to leave behind, I guess. We don't live forever, but if we can leave the world better, like by doing something like this, then I think that's sort of partly why we're here, is to leave the world a bit better than how we found it. So I just thought I'd let you know about another one of the ways that you guys can get involved. If you don't necessarily want to be involved with the community garden, volunteer part of the area that we're using, then just here you can start actually seeing that this area here is going to be used for sort of leased or rental sections. And so this little section here is the first bit of land that one of the volunteers is actually leased for our own uses, and then she's volunteering up there, but she has also leased her own bit of land that she will then work, but this piece will be 100% for her use. So whatever she produces on this bit of land will be for her and no one else. Whereas what's happening up the top there, that is for everybody to be shared, and for any excess to be then sold by myself for the Mission Beach Community Gardens, and to raise funds to continue the work that we're doing here. So yeah, if you want to lease one of these little plots, it's $208 a year, or basically $4 a week, and then any costs on top of that. So if you guys want mulch or fertilizers supplied through the community gardens, then you guys can purchase that from the community gardens at the basic same cost, and then that can be used for yourselves on your little plots of land. So for anyone who wants to come down and join the community gardens or get involved with the working bees that we're having here on a weekly basis, until anything changes, which will be advertised on the Facebook pages, we're currently meeting on Wednesday and Saturday mornings from around about 7:30 through to around about 10:30 is when it starts getting a bit too hot and sweaty. But I mean, people are more than welcome once they're sort of initiated or inducted into the volunteer group. Then you're basically able to come here pretty much as often as you want. You just have to sort of let me know that you're going to be here on site, and I'll make sure you got access and all that kind of thing. And then you're welcome to come along and potter around in the garden and grow your own veggies. So I hope to see you here soon.